As an aspiring virtual assistant, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're just starting out. From knowing what skills you can leverage to start your freelancing or your virtual assistant business, into your virtual assistant career, to selecting the industry that you want to work on, finding out your specialization, and now deciding whether you want to apply for a direct client or to an agency. And if you haven't decided yet, then let's go over them and make a comparison between the two. Hey you, it's me, Chris, again, your tea spiller in all things digital and an advocate of wise spending. If this is your first time watching my video, welcome, and if you have been watching my videos for quite a while now, thank you so much and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we are going to talk about the difference between applying for an agency or applying for a direct client or clients. And you can definitely do both, but if you are currently starting out and don't want to waste all your energy going back and forth from applying to an agency and applying to a direct client, then here is a video for you. So we are going to go over the advantages and disadvantages of the two. So let's start with the good one and the good news. Let's start about the advantages of both agency and direct clients. Now, the good thing about applying for an agency is the projects are stable, or you have a stable client, or you have a stable work. Another one is they have free trainings. Who doesn't love free? And they would train you and get you started, especially if you are a newbie, or if you are a new freelancer or a virtual assistant. It is really helpful for someone to help and guide you throughout the task and help you get started with not only the skills, but also the tools and how it is done, or how it is done efficiently and effectively. Another one is you have an accountability partner. Now, most agencies have their own project manager to oversee your work or oversee you and monitor your time or work if you've done a great job, or if you have finished all your tasks, or you have some delays in your tasks. They're the ones who follow up and give you a pat on your shoulder if you need it, and remind you about things that you need to get done on time, or things that you need to work on at that time. They're also the one you can ask most of the time about the task or about the work itself. And the next one is it's for long-term work. You have a stable job and also a long-term project or client. And if you are someone who wants to have that stability in your life, then I would highly recommend for you to also apply for an agency. Aside from all those perks, they also provide you tools, aside from training, of course, tools that sometimes if you are doing it yourself, you have to pay for it. But because you have an agency or you work for an agency, they will be the one who provides you with access, and you just have to use it without paying for subscriptions or a one-time payment on any of the platforms that you need to use in order to finish or work on your task. And lastly is avoiding scams. And scammers are not just in the freelancing or in the virtual assistant industry, it's everywhere, but it is also here. So there are times that you have to be wary if you're doing a freelancing, if you're acquiring clients by yourself or you're applying for direct clients. But in an agency, they filter out those types of clients and only provide you a legit client to work with, and they will reassure that you are going to get paid for the work that you have rendered. So that is the best thing about agency. Now what about having a direct client or applying for direct client or client? One thing I love about having a direct client or working for a direct client is that you can negotiate your terms. You can make your own contracts and set up a workflow that works for you. So for example, you can say that you want to work at this time, or you want to be paid bi-weekly, or you want a down payment or initial payment. You can negotiate those kind of terms and put it inside your contract. So basically, it's a really good perk to have when you are applying or when you're trying to acquire a direct, or you want to work with a direct client, because of that particular advantage of negotiating your terms. And the next one is you are more flexible when you are working with a direct clients. You can talk to them directly most of the time. You can suggest things, you can tell them or suggest about the workflow. You can create your own system with the client and tell them this works, this doesn't, or even give them proposals for things that you think would really be valuable for your client's business. And that is another good thing about it, because aside from having more flexible in your work, you can also have a more flexible time. You can work anytime you want, anywhere you want, but as long as you finish the task on time or within the deadline or before the deadline. And of course, you have control over your workload and time, because again, you can negotiate your terms with your client or clients. So you can tell them that you can do this within this time, and you can finish this by this date, and you can work on this by this hour of the day, or of this time and this time zone. And you can organize your workload, especially if your client is a result-based driven client, where the only thing that matters to them is the result, and you get to do whatever you want to do with how you want the task to get done, because again, they only care about the results. So as long as you give that or you perform that, then they're okay with it, which is most of the direct clients are. And of course, what comes with negotiating your own terms is that you can set your rate in your own terms. You can set a higher rate for yourself and receive the rate in its full amount, except of course from transfer fees. But aside from that, you get the full amount that you are charging with your client, minus the transfer fees that the platform you're using are charging, like PayPal, TransferWise, Remitly, or something the same as that, or similar applications or platforms that does international online bank transfers or international online transfers. And also, you have a higher chance of getting referrals if you really work hard, and if your clients really like the results you're giving and they like your personality, they like working with you, there is a high chance that they will also give you referrals. So that means that there are also more work for you and more clients or inflow of clients coming in, which is a really good thing, because it's all about connections and doing good and providing value in the virtual assistant industry or freelancing industry in general. So those are the advantages of having or working for an agency and for working with direct clients. Now let's go to the disadvantages of the two. Now the disadvantages of working for an agency is that you'll get lower compensation, because again, they're going to take a percentage from your salary or from your income, because they have also provided values such as getting a client for you, giving you free trainings, providing you with free tools, and also overseeing your work. The second one is they have a longer application process, because again, they also need to reassure their clients that they are providing a quality virtual assistant services or service for them. So they need to filter out, do a very strict interviews or stricter interviews, because they already know how to find a better suited virtual assistant for certain clients. And we have the third one, which is you can't get a down payment or initial payment when you're working with an agency, because that is your selling point, that will definitely get paid with the hours of work you have rendered working with them for their clients or for the clients that they have given to you. And lastly, their work is less flexible because they have someone who monitors you every now and then, and there will be someone who reminds you about your task and also strictly manage or follow certain time of tasks to do at certain day, at certain hours of the day, and so much more. So they have a system, they have a process that you need to follow. So it's less flexible than working with a direct client where you can negotiate your own terms. Now we go to disadvantages of working with a direct client. The first one is that it's not a stable work and it's not a definite long-term work setting, because there is a possibility that your client might just cancel their contract with you after a month or so because of other factors in their business, and most of the time you don't get compensated by it. But there are clients who also does compensate you when they terminate their contract earlier than expected. And the second one is that you create your own process, your own onboarding and other system inside the virtual assistant business, which is taken over when you are working with an agency. However, if you do it by yourself, you have to do the client acquisition, the onboarding process, the marketing yourself, the finding clients, task or work. Those things you have to do by yourself unless you outsource them. But as an aspiring or as a new freelancer, it's hard. But if you have the budget, because maybe you saved a lot of money before starting your virtual assistant journey, then that is great. You can outsource it. You can even buy some templates that are already laid out for you, or SOPs for virtual assistant business. So that is one of the disadvantages of doing or getting a direct client. But again, if you can afford to do those systems because you really want to enjoy the freedom, then go for it. And we still have the third one, which is you don't have an accountability partner, unlike working for an agency, because again, you have to do it by yourself most of the time if you don't have any budget for a coach or for outsourcing your task. So you need to be responsible and disciplined with your time and workload and your time management. And lastly, you need to pay for tools and skills improvement. Now, aside from doing the paying for other parts of the business, you also need to do or pay for tools and skills improvement so you can work for the certain work that your client would ask you to do. Now, some examples of paid tools are your CRM, your password manager, so you can assure your clients' accounts and other information, important information, are not leaked. Sometimes you also have to pay for your website if you are investing in that. So there's a lot of things that you need to pay, and there's also courses, trainings, seminars, and the like, because it's important to keep improving your skills so you would still be able to be on trend, be on the market, be updated with all the tasks that you have to work on, no matter what industry and specialization you are in. And that is the advantages and disadvantages of having or working for an agency and working for a direct client or clients. And I hope this video helps you with your virtual assistant journey. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you love this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that notification bell to be notified for my new video or videos. And don't forget also to share this to someone who might find it valuable. Let's spread good vibes and good news. So that's it, and see you on my next video or videos. Bye!